Equations of circles. Time to wrap up what we did in class. I'll go over the standard form of the equation of the circle and how to write the equation of a circle from both a graph and information. I'll show you how I go about sketching a circle, and then we'll talk about how to determine if a point is on, in, or outside the circle. Then, of course, we have some common mistakes and a summary. The standard form of the equation of a circle looks like what you see down here in red. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. This refers back to, in the graph, the point hk, which is the center, r, which is the radius, and x and y are the variables that we get when we graph anything in 2 dimensions. Just like in an equation of a line, we had y equals mx plus b. We still had a y and an x even when we were done. We're still going to have a y and an x when we're done here. So to summarize very quickly, h and k give you the coordinates of the center, and h is the x-coordinate, k is the y-coordinate, r is the radius, so don't forget to take the square root to find the radius, because in the equation it's r squared. So let's try writing an equation. What's the equation of a circle centered at -2, 1, with a radius of 10? This is our standard form of our equation. We should start with this. We know that r equals 10. We know that h equals -2 and k equals 1. When I plug this into the standard form of the equation, I get x minus -2 squared plus y minus 1 squared equals 10 squared. Simplifying down a little bit further, and we get x plus 2 squared plus y minus 1 squared equals 100. Writing the equation from a graph is not very difficult. We need to know where the center is, and our center is at -2, 2. And we need to know what our radius is. The radius is 3. So we have x minus -2 again, and y minus +2 is equal to 3 squared. So x plus 2 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 9. To sketch the circle, we're going to work backwards a little bit. We're going to figure out that h was -3 because remember that this comes from x minus h. So what's being subtracted that makes it look like a plus, well, we must be subtracting a negative. K is +1, and r is 4. Plotting that on our circle, let's start off with -3, 1 for our center, right here. And we're going to count out a radius of 4. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we do our best to come up with something that's round. That's one of my better circles, so don't feel bad if yours look kind of crooked. Determining where a point is, it could be inside the circle, outside the circle, or exactly on the circle. So all points on the circle balance the circle's equation. This is the equation we already came up on this graph. Let's pick a nice easy point that we know is going to be on the circle, like this one, 1, 2. If I plug in 1 for x and 2 for y, the equation should balance out to be 9. We get 3 squared plus 0 squared equals 9, and that balances because 3 squared equals 9. points inside and outside the circle do not balance. So let's take the point like 2, 3. 2 plus 2 squared plus 3 minus 2 squared equals 9. This is 4 squared plus 1 squared, and that's going to give us 17, which does not equal 9. So we can see that we got a number that was too big for our radius. This tells us that 2, 3 is too far away from the center. It's not 9 units away from the center, or it's not the square root of 9 units away from the center, it's the square root of 17. That's too far. Similarly, a point inside the circle would give you a left-hand side of the equation less than 9. So just some quick common mistakes. Make sure you watch your signs since it's, for example, the x-coordinate is the number being subtracted. This could happen with a y-coordinate too. So if you see a plus inside, it's really a negative in the coordinates. And make sure you're thinking about what that equation is telling you. It comes from the distance formula. So points that are exactly the radius distance away are on the circle. If they're too far away, you'll get a distance greater than the radius. If they're inside the circle and too close, you'll get a distance less than the radius. Don't forget to jot down a summary, what the equation is, what it tells you, and particularly that common mistake about signs.